Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Can you believe we're already at day 18 of the 25 days of Advent? Thank you for joining us. This has been such a great treat. So, today we're going to talk about the sounds of Christmas. Do you hear what I hear? Listen beyond the noise to the sounds. What do you hear? Do you hear the excitement of a child? Do you hear Christmas music? A baby crying? A harried mother having a meltdown from trying to do too much? A family counting pennies, wondering if they'd have enough to eat, let alone presents or clothes for the children? Do you hear people who already have so much expressing how much more they need just to be happy? The sounds of Christmas are sounds of praise, joy, and of worship. They're a celebration. Christmas carolers have been a long-standing tradition. This was begun in Victorian times. Originally, a carol was not a hymn, but rather a form of dance. Some of the Christmas carols were dances, but later on, hymns were written as well. The sounds of Christmas are bells ringing. Church bells are rung for significant events. While there were no church bells ringing for either Jesus' birth or his death, today we still have bells, especially handbells, in our celebrations. There's also the Salvation Army bell ringers, who people try to avoid eye contact with so they don't feel guilty about not giving. As you think about the sounds of Christmas, do you think about the sounds of gunfire? Picture a different Christmas, December 24th, 1914, in France. World War I was raging. Now, there's many accounts of what happened next, but most seem to begin with a song. One side would sing a song, and then the other side. At one point, they both began singing the same song in different languages. The next morning, German soldiers walked out of the trenches with signs. You no shoot, we no shoot. Both sides climbed out of the trenches, sang, laughed, and exchanged gifts like cigarettes or candy. This was a one-day spontaneous truce. That night, troops returned to their trenches, and the following morning, they continued shooting each other. But for one day, the peace of Jesus prevailed over the war. Now, that war was a political war. In today's world, wars are often more of a religious. We have religious terrorists. And a lot of times these wars intensify during religious holidays such as Christmas, when the enemy believes diligence will be at its lowest. This Christmas, there are men and women in trenches fighting for their lives instead of fighting over trivial matters such as who gets the wishbone. This Christmas, there are people living with sounds of gunfire, not sure what tomorrow's going to look like. I wonder, what sounds do you hear? Do you pray for those who are in harder circumstances tonight? What is the song of your home this Christmas? Is it filled with warmth? Is it one of joy, gratitude, or of praise for an amazing God who fills our hearts to overflowing with his presence in our home? Do you hear what I hear? Do you hear the sounds of Jesus who loves you? God bless you, and I'll see you all tomorrow for day 19.